Welcome back to the Stovetop. So my experience with non-alcoholic beer has been that people kind of treat it like a joke. They call it near beer, and if you're ever caught drinking one, you get crap from your buddies over it. Sometimes, if you see it on the store shelf, it might be gathering dust because nobody buys it. The irony is that in some cases, non-alcoholic beer costs more than regular beer. Go figure. But non-alcoholic beer actually does have a place. Now, I understand there are some people that say it tastes terrible. It tastes like watered down beer or just doesn't taste like beer. And that hasn't been my experience with it at all. In some cases, it tastes pretty close to the real thing, or it just tastes like beer. You know, kind of like if you're at say a wedding reception and they offer beer at the bar there, you know, and you really don't know what kind it is, but hey, it's beer, right? So you just take it. Uh, it's close enough in my opinion. Now, for other people, it's something they're never going to touch, and that's fine. That's your choice. But non-alcoholic beer actually does have a place. For one, it's healthier for you than beer. So you might have some health issues where you're watching your weight, you're watching the nutrition you take in, or you can't drink alcohol because of medication you're on, or doctor's orders, or something like that, or you can't have as much. So non-alcoholic beer kind of fills that gap. It can, if you want a cool, refreshing beer, you know, one day and you're really not supposed to be drinking alcohol, then you could have this. Another reason that non-alcoholic beer kind of has a place is, say you've got a situation where you'd like to have a beer, maybe socially or something else like that, but you're you don't want to be under the influence of alcohol at all. You're operating heavy equipment, you're driving, you're carrying a firearm, something like that, and maybe you meet at the bar or something like that, and you order a non-alcoholic beer. Now, once again, you're going to catch crap from your friends, but who's driving them home, right? But that's really what this is about. So I thought I would go ahead and do a review on a non-alcoholic beer I'm trying out for the first time today. This is Corona Non-Alcoholic. Or if you go to the Corona website, it's called Corona Non-Alcoholic Malt Beverage Mexican Import Brew. Okay, we'll just call it Corona Non-Alcoholic. So now that I've gone through that lengthy introduction that somebody will complain about in the comments section, you know what? Fuck you. Make your own video. You're the one who decided to tune into this crap. But anyhow, now that I'm past that point, let me go ahead and give you some information about Corona Non-Alcoholic. So it's only sold in 6 packs of 12-ounce glass bottles, and the nutritional facts for a 12-ounce serving is that it has less than 0.5% of alcohol by volume. To compare, I looked at a bottle of Dayquil, and it's 10% alcohol. So this really has very little in it at all. It has, in a 12-ounce serving, 0 grams of fat, 0 milligrams of cholesterol, 0 milligrams of sodium, 17.5 grams of carbohydrates, and is 60 calories. And to compare, a Corona Extra is 148 calories for 12 ounces, a Corona Light is 99 calories, and a Corona Premier is 90 calories. So this is something that isn't going to put as much weight on you, and in some cases, for some people, some individuals who are watching things like their sodium or their carbohydrate or cholesterol, that sort of thing, this is a healthier option. I'm not calling it healthy. This is not medical advice. However, this is an option. All right, now it's time to try one of these. So I just bought it this morning at the local party store. That's the same thing as a package store or a liquor store in some other parts of the country. It's chilled. So I'll just go ahead and open up this long neck bottle, and it's not a twist off. Fortunately, I have a bottle opener on standby. There we go. Smells like beer. Smells just a little skunky. Not like European beer skunky, but just a little bit. Okay, so it does taste a little bit watered down. It's not as heavy as beer, even like a light beer. There is almost like a little bit of a chemical filler to it. I'm not saying it's got a nasty aftertaste or anything else like that, but yeah, I would think that this, if you told me it was a Corona, if I was blindfolded and you told me it was a Corona, the closest thing I could compare this to is the Corona Premier. And since I have one bottle of Corona Premier left in the beer fridge, why don't I go ahead and just compare the two side by side. Now that, I'm not really getting the beer smell so much out of this long neck. And I didn't cleanse the palate because this should have a bit of a heavier taste. Yeah, there's a slight difference. It's not as pungent. Yeah, I would say that the Corona non-alcoholic is a little bit more pungent than the Corona Premier, but the Corona Premier kind of has more of an alcohol taste to it. It's not very strong, don't get me wrong. This is pretty much as light as you can get for Corona. And I happen to like Corona Premier, so it's another option out there if you're kind of counting calories and that sort of thing. But I'd say comparing the two side by side, that the Corona non-alcoholic is close enough for me. Now, individual results may vary. Some of you may still never want to have a non-alcoholic beer or say, what's the point? I get it. It's kind of like decaffeinated coffee. What's the point? Although, if you have health reasons and you really enjoy the taste of coffee, that is another option. So I just thought I would do this comparison and this review just to pretty much present that. This is an option. That's all it is. And for me, I've got some situations where a non-alcoholic beer really comes in handy because I'd like to have the beer, but I don't want to have the alcohol, or I'm kind of watching my sodium or something else like that. So this might come in handy for somebody else out there who's doing the same. Thanks for watching.